and Mockingbird. But do you know the one called Project Gladio?
No, I do not.
Put your seatbelt on, because this one just tops it all. So this was World War II ends, and the OSS, which was the CIA at the time, decides to leave behind, rather than take everybody home, all the American soldiers, they're going to leave behind a bunch of them. Hey, you guys, hide your weapons, hide your rifles, secrete all the grenades and ammunition and put it in bunkers, and just sit tight until we have some ideas of things you ought to do. So eventually, a few hundred of them stay behind, and they are going to do things in Europe to stop communism, to stop socialism, to fight the Soviets, etc. But what do they actually end up doing is terroristic incidents against our allies. They blow up a train station in Bologna, 285 people injured, 85 people killed, done and funded and operated by our CIA. They do the 1989 assassination of a guy who's a journalist who's writing about this. They shoot him twice in the head. They do another bombing, 17 people killed. Another one, Oktoberfest in Germany, not Italy, 17 people killed. Why? Because they see that certain candidates are doing well and might become prime ministers, for example, or important legislators. So when you have a big, giant terrorist incident done in some train station, for example, that moves the public toward a more right-leaning government or a more totalitarian government that CIA can deal with, and away from anything where communism can happen. There's the assassination of Aldo Moro. He was a former prime minister, 5 bodyguards. They're all killed. He's kidnapped. A few weeks later, he's shot in the head and put in the trunk of a car. That was done by Project Gladio. In other words, these things were done by the United States to our supposed allies. And hundreds of these leave-behinds operated eventually a 20,000-person army all over Europe. Now, I don't expect anybody to believe a word of it. You got to go to Wikipedia and put in Gladio. It's just one D. And you see that this insanity is true. The punchline on it for me, the one that really blows it out of the water, is that it ended in 1990.
Whoa.
Yeah. And George Bush was president, and he'd been former director of CIA, of course, and he denies it like crazy, but eventually an Italian prime minister really goes to the mat on it, and it becomes so well established that the U.S. government funded and managed these operations, blowing up regular citizens in Europe, that a lot of the people who were imprisoned for them, for those incidents, terrorists, terrorist groups, et cetera, were released on the defense that it was actually done by CIA. I did tell you to put your seatbelt on.
Oh, my God.